Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and guess what? 4 great decks. We're going to kick it off with a Redshift Galactus First Steps list. We're then going to talk about a Stardust home that is one of the highest win rates in Marvel Snap. It's got a 72% win rate, a counter deck because everything pre-infinite right now is Invisible Woman, and then the counter list that everyone has forgotten. That is one of my favorite lists in the whole game. First, let's talk Redshift, though. Redshift is a 2/3. On reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand to add a random card with the same cost to your hand. Redshift is excellent. This card is genuinely really good and really useful. I haven't played him in classic discard, but in both Agatha and in Black Knight decks, he has absolutely sung as a card. Just a lot of power. Don't sleep on that. He's drawing you a card fundamentally at his discard. He is just genuinely a very good, very consistent Marvel Snap card. And I think that he's going to be a card a lot of people are going to skip because he's starting Series 4, coming with all these other cards, and that people are going to want down the line. The deck we're going to talk about is Tucker's version of Redshift. We do have stats on this. We'll get to them when we get to the turn by turn. But Tucker's version of this deck absolutely really works. It's not cheap though, right? So like what's worth noting here is this is not a cheap deck. It's got 4 2-drops and it's got 4 high series 2-drops. It's got a 5-drop at the 1 spot, a season pass at the 6th spot. Like, this is not a cheap deck, but it is a very effective deck. We will have some semi-budget things for you later in this video, but it is worth noting that despite this deck's expensive nature, this seems like something that actually has real legs. It's got a lot of power, and I don't think that power is going to dissipate post-infinite. This just seems strong. You can find Tucker at twitch.tv/Tucker, TUCCRR. He is also on YouTube and will be on our podcast this very week. This deck needs Black Knight, Victoria Hand, Frigga, and Redshift. Galactus can be Red Hulk or Giganto. Galactus First Steps here is very nice. He is a big card. The reason we're not going into him is everything I had to say about the card I fundamentally said yesterday, which the short version is he gets real big a lot of the time, and he's probably worth running if you like 6s for the time being. Iron Patriot or Valentina, you do need one, can be Mr. Fantastic First Steps. You can also try to run an extra card that generates cards like a Mirage, like a Kate Bishop, because you do have that Victoria Hand package. All right, let's go card by card and explain things. Also, if you've been here for a long time and you're like, what the hell is this view? This is me taking a screenshot of the game. Snap Zone was being a pain in my butt. I don't know why. Snap Zone was being a pain in my butt. Check out Marvel Snap Zone. There's great content there, although the website decided it didn't like me today. So I'm really sorry. You're not going to get deck codes today because I couldn't get them to you the usual way. All right. So Black Knight is the key to the whole deck. He is the single best card. You have Redshift, Blade, and Lady Sif. Having a third targeted discard for this list is absolutely huge. That can get rid of a 6-drop. That obviously gives you access to the shard. And yes, Shadow King is a card that's in the meta right now, but you can always hold that shard until late game. And because you have all these different buffs and all these different things you can do, you often end up just like sort of sacrificing one lane, saying they're going to Shang or Shadow King one of these 2 places, but they can't stop me everywhere. Blade is a discard outlet, and Lady Sif is a discard outlet. You are generally trying to use them for Infinite. You'll use them for Galactus First Steps, but you want to sort of take advantage of his ability first to get things as big as possible. The reason you want to discard things outside of Black Knight is Ghost Rider brings them back, which is again very powerful. From there, let's talk Iron Patriot and Valentina. Iron Patriot and Valentina are both very powerful cards in this list. Iron Patriot has the Juggernaut for free wins. Lady Sif is also reasonably big and helps you win there. But even if you miss, that is often an extra card for you to discard or just an extra card for you to play, a card that will be buffed by Victoria Hand. Valentina gives you another card buffed by Victoria Hand, another card that is really good to bring back with the Ghost Rider or to just play on turn 4. You have access through Iron Patriot and Valentina to more high cost, high power cards than it looks like in this list. Redshift really helps with that too, right? So like those Iron Patriot, Redshift, and Valentina mean that even though you're only running 2 6s, you very often have extra 6s to do your Ghost Rider Black Knight stuff. You also have some cheap 6s thanks to Valentina and Iron Patriot, so things get even better there. Also, like Redshift gave me a Sasquatch one game, right? So like it can even give you some discounted 6s that way. Victoria Hand buffs the shard, it buffs the Redshift card, it buffs whatever you got with Frigga, usually herself. it ends up just being really useful. It's not amazing. This isn't the best Victoria Hand deck, although Victoria Hand has a real claim for a top 5 card of Marvel Snap, maybe even a top 3 card of Marvel Snap right now. So she is one of the better cards, one of the better power engines in this deck. She's not amazing, but her extra power gives you play when things sort of don't go your way. I got a cloning Vats when I played this, right? And then all of a sudden my like 3-4 Victoria Hands were just absolutely backbreaking for my opponent. Juggernaut is free wins. It's either an auto clog, a free win, an Iron Patriot, just a useful card to have access to, another top 5-ish card of Marvel Snap. Frigga is largely here for Victoria Hand, unless you get a really good discounted Iron Patriot card. Once in a while, you can copy a Shard, you can copy a Ghost Rider if you discarded 2 things, a good Valentina card. But generally speaking, you're trying to Victoria Hand. We talked about Lady Sif already. Ghost Rider here brings back one of your big cards, nice and simple. Galactus, because you have so much power and so many frustrating cards, is able to get really, really big here. And of course, Infinite is generally speaking the biggest thing. It's worth noting that I had a 22 power Galactus while I played this list. He can genuinely be back-breakingly big. So this one has a 63% win rate in 140 games pre-infinite. That's a lot of games. That means not just Tucker playing it. A lot of people are having a lot of success with this list. Turn 1, Black Knight, Blade whenever you have Infinite and Black Knight or Ghost Rider. Turn 2, Iron Patriot or Valentina. If you think you can win Iron Patriot, if not Valentina. Victoria Hand is fine, especially if you have Frigga to follow it up. Redshift if you have Black Knight or Ghost Rider, if you have obviously a good target. Turn 3, Sif or Frigga for Hand. Don't be afraid to drop a 2-drop here. Fairly often I was doing something like playing a Blade or playing a Victoria Hand and then or playing a Iron Patriot and then dropping Redshift the next turn. Also really, really nice is if you get a Galactus First Steps card and you get a Iron Patriot card in different lanes, they have to choose whether they're going to give you the discounted Iron Patriot or the power on Galactus. Spoiler, they should be competing in the Iron Patriot lane, but the card is new enough that people don't know that. Turn 4, we're looking for Ghost Rider or the Shard, generally speaking. If not, we have a million 2s. Feel free to go 2+2. This is the last turn to play Iron Patriot and get a discount. Turn 5 is usually a 3 and a 2. That's usually Juggernaut, but sometimes it's Victoria Hand and Frigga. And when you do that, you're very often going to end with a 6 drop that costs 4, which is the Valentina card, the Ghost Rider, or the Shard. And then you play that last Victoria Hand, and you just have this really, really nice power spike to end the game. List is very good. Redshift is shockingly good. Honestly, I think Redshift might be better than Galactus. I know that's a hot take, but Galactus First Steps is a really fun card. It's a card that gets big, but it's a card that's going to be limited because a lot of Marvel Snap decks don't especially want to run 6-drops. A lot of decks can make use of Redshift. I will be surprised if he doesn't start to find his way into like some bullseye style discard list as well. I think that this is a really seriously good Marvel Snap card. We're going to get to what I think the best deck of the day is from our friend Safety Blade momentarily, but before we do, if you haven't yet, please hit that sub, leave a like, and leave a comment. It would really help the channel out a lot, and in return, we will give you 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos, often 9-10 videos in a week. And we will also be giving away 5 Galactus First Steps this week. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. Your comment enters you on any video this week in a chance to win one of 5 Galactus First Steps. Every single video released this week will have its own Galactus First Steps within it. Stardust has been bugged, largely with Mysterio, which is the least surprising thing in the world. Ongoing cards are often bugged. Their VFX bugs the game. And Mysterio is often bugged because he is a totally unique and distinct card in the game. So when combined, these 2 cards often absolutely break Marvel Snap. If you would like to break Marvel Snap and lose some cubes, have fun doing that. Stardust, however, is very good. A lot of games, he's not doing much, but a 4-7 is good enough stats that you can just sort of drop it and not feel too bad. And in some other matchups, he wins. Like if you don't like losing to Surfer, removing their access to Brood is really good. Removing their access to extra shenanigans is really good, right? There's a location that's going to make extra cards. No, it's not. So all that stuff Redshift Stardust offers is absolutely great. It beats that last deck pretty well, right? Like it does a really, really good job at making sure that Ghost Rider doesn't happen. A lot of cards in the game are generated that we don't think they are just added to locations that we don't think they are, and Stardust has proven to be a very good card. Is it the meta breaker, the meta definer we thought it would be when it was data mined? Hard to say at this point. I do think that this is a card that's sort of being slept on and is really good. Safety Blade is this card's #1 fan. If you don't know Safety Blade is the creator of the Slayer Blade archetype, the old Cannonball Professor X list that last summer was the best deck in the game. He also invented the original Dracula Dump, genuinely a brilliant Marvel Snap player, is finished on the top 10 of the Infinite Leaderboard. He keeps telling everyone that Stardust is cope because he doesn't want everyone to play it because he thinks this is one of the best cards in the game. In this list in particular is what he thinks. This is Safety Blade's day one infinite list. With it, he had a 72% win rate. I played it for a bunch of games and I won a lot of them, following almost the exact same pattern. That pattern is fundamentally get Invisible Woman out, sometimes get out Thing for steps, and then you win by juggernauting to win a lane on the cheap, and then you have a Thing lane with that where you also have like a Havoc, and that lane gets huge and something is destroyed there, and then you win the damn game. It's really not that complicated, but it wins an awful lot. You can find Safety at twitch.tv/safetyblade. He also writes articles on Marvel Snap Zone. This deck needs Invisible Woman, First Steps, Thing First Steps, and Thena. Surge or Mr. Fantastic and B. Merlin, I'm pretty sure we can find other 2-drops that could fit there. There's just sort of a shortage of good 2-drops. Fantasticar and Stardust can be Marvel Boy Torch, again, reasonably expensive replacements. I didn't write it, but I'm 90% sure that Hydra Bob or Black Hat should just be Sunspot. They're not, but they absolutely should be. Sunspot can get stupidly big with our friend Invisible Woman. So let's go card by card, explain once more. Kitty Pryde is here largely for Thena. Having access to Kitty Pryde to trigger Thena a bunch makes her really big. You don't need Thena to be like 20 power, which she can get to if you do the double Invisible Woman. You're perfectly happy to get the regular size Thena and use the Kitty Pryde to do so. Hydra Bob's a 1/4 that's buffed by Fantasticar. It'll move twice for Invisible Woman if the snap is on the last turn, fair warning, but it is a card that is really, really solid, having access to a 1/6. Black Cat works as a 1/7 with Fantasticar, same basic concept. Havoc is really big. If you don't see Thing, you're playing Havoc on turn 5 if you can. If you do see Thing, you're happy to play Havoc on turn 6 as a 2/8 in that lane. You're playing a 2/8, you're getting an extra 2 power on the Thing and a Destroy. That usually wins a location. Thena we talked about, she's just big power, nice simple big power. She ends up 10, 12 power a lot of the times. Fantastic doesn't usually benefit from Invisible Woman, but it does benefit from Fantasticar. Fantasticar is freaking incredible in this, if that's not clear, by the way. Fantasticar is sort of what this is built around more than it looks like, but Mr. Fantastic gives you extra energy, but lets you do broken and powerful things. Same exact concept as Surge, except Surge doesn't get the lovely Fantasticar buff. Juggernaut is completely insane in the metagame right now. People are going to try and be comboing you to death. You win a lane on the cheap with Juggernaut, and then the Thing wins you another one. A big concern we had with the Thing for steps when he was data mined was that he wasn't going to be able to win a lane. Turns out that is much ado about nothing. He is absolutely a lane winner, especially if you can win another lane on the cheap, and that is what Juggernaut's specialty is. Invisible Woman for steps is here to buff specifically Thena and Havoc. It doesn't hit anything else here in any real way, but getting an extra trigger on either of those cards is enough to usually win a lane. Again, people, you can double it, right? But you don't have to double one of the best cards in the game to win with it. Another top 5 card, by the way, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman for steps. Fantasticar buffs the majority of this list. Hydra Bob, Black Cat, Havoc, Thena, Mr. Fantastic for steps, and the Thing for steps are all buffed by Fantasticar, which means it is every bit as good as Invisible Woman for steps in this list. It is genuinely Galacta level here. Stardust says, I don't want you to cheat, right? I don't want you to do extra things. I don't want you to mess with me. Stardust says, I don't want you going over the top. I want an I win button, and I want you to have to play fair Marvel Snap, and having access to a 4/7s, again, really, really nice. And then, of course, the Thing is a lane winner. You can play him on turn 6 with Kitty Pryde, but generally speaking, you want him out on turn 5, and you're using him to basically guarantee you a lane. He is amazing at guaranteeing you a lane, especially as you can sort of go off on that very last turn. All right, so make sure that you're not filling his location to the last turn, please. This is a over 70% win rate early. This is the highest win rate game deck at over 80 games, so go for it. Turn 1, Black Cat, because if not, it'll discard itself over Bob or Kitty. Turn 2, Mr. Fantastic over Surge over a 1 or Thena. Turn 3, Invisible Woman, and you can start snapping Invisible Woman at this point. You can protect Invisible Woman better with this deck than you can the Prodigy decks for the simple reason that you can play her with other cheaper cards in the same lane because you're not trying to keep her in the position to copy her. If you don't have Invisible Woman, go 2+1, especially if you have Thena. Turn 4, we want Fantastic Art, 2+2, and Fantastic Art is so good that we really want to get it out. But we often have to skip it. If we draw Invisible Woman late, sometimes we have to skip it. If we know we want a Thing on 5 when we need a 2+2 on 4, so be it. Thing or over 3+2 on 5, and then Juggernaut and Havoc on turn 6 wins the game. This deck is once more an absolute beauty, an absolute monster. If you want to play some good, solid mid-range and tell your opponent to deal with your power, this is the deck for you. If you love that type of like I grind out games deck, this is going to be amazing. By the way, you can see the filters I'm using here. I'm using 8 ranks 80 to 100 as my filter here. So this one has a 72% win rate on the road to infinite. Before we go forward, please check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. I will hopefully be live a little bit after this video goes live. So within an hour, come check me out streaming. I'm around rank 94 or so, and I will be going for infinites. All right, season pass question is, how much of a problem is Invisible Woman for steps? I know some people that think that this card is absolutely destroying the game. I know some people think that this card is totally fine and there's no big deal. Where do you land? I am in the this is not a huge deal category because, well, the next 2 decks counter the crap out of it, and I don't think either of them are doing anything out of the ordinary. And I think there's a lot of other decks that can sort of counter it and do powerful things against it if it's not going way over the top. I'd also like you to note that's the Snap Judgments League is returning with $500 in prizes. For anyone who doesn't know what the Snap Judgments League is, it's our major tournament. We host it over several weeks. A bunch of people enter. You're put into a pod of players. That pod of players has a winner, the winner of which gets a season pass. Then you're put into the cash version of the league where there's $500 in prizes. All you have to do is be a $2 Patreon to enter. Check out patreon.com/snapjudgments if you are interested in checking out the Snap Judgments League. We'll have a slide with some more info, and we'll start advertising that more as we go forward. We're kicking it off at the end of August, right around my birthday, so get yourselves ready. Next up, we got Supergiant Control. This is the version from our friend Shang Enjoyer. I had him make it on Snapzone because it was, again, pissing me off. So we have Supergiant Control, which is absolutely rocking right now. The Ronin version of this is one of the best versions. It's just a very, very strong list, and it absolutely straight up farms Invisible Woman because there's no end of turn cards for Invisible Woman to work with at this point, or you can play her, and if she doesn't reveal, you can't activate her. As Activate gets better and better, and remember, next season is Activate season, Supergiant also gets better and better. You can find it, our friend Shang Enjoyer at twitter.com/Shang Enjoyer, or you can come hang out on my stream where he often is. Hi, Shang. This deck needs Supergiant, Goliath, and Gladiator. Bob can be Nebula, Iron Patriot can be Master Mold, and Mr. Fantastic can be Surge. All right, so Hydra Bob and Black Cat are priority agents. You really want Prio in this list between Negasonic and Goliath. Your goal is to get priority for your Supergiant turns. That's what we're doing here with these nice, simple cards. That is Hydra Bob and Black Cat's role here. Mr. Fantastic First Steps is here because he's an incredible card. That's it. He gives plus power, which can help you get Prio. He makes things cheaper, which can help you find new ways to steal cubes. He's amazing. Shadow King is our purest tech card in the list. It's saying, oh no, you're going green power. I can see where you're going green power. Often that sits on the board. You stick Shadow King behind that Supergiant or just play him on the last turn, and you win. Daredevil works both as a replacement and with Supergiant, where if you snap on that Daredevil turn, that opponent will often have to run, not knowing what you have and knowing that you're countering them. Iron Patriot gives you access to a powerful card, nice and simple. You're playing a Prio game plan, so you can Iron Patriot, you can use Negasonic or Gladiator to basically guarantee yourself a card. Maximus is a play on turn 4 against Victoria Hand because they're often like playing Moon Girl or drawing cards that turn, or it's a play on turn 5 under Supergiant, or it could even be a play on turn 6 with like a Negasonic or a Shadow King. Really powerful card. Not only does it give you 6 power, it also gives +4 to Ronin. Negasonic is one of your other control cards. It is like your mini Goliath. Sometimes use it with Goliath, but often you're choosing between the two. Gladiator is a giant Prio engine and just a lot of power. Supergiant is the deck. It's what turns off the metagame right now. If the Victoria Hand player is going to try and generate cards on turn 5, no, they're not. You auto win, right? If the end of turn deck is trying to beat you, no, it's not. You auto win. From there, we go to Ronin. Ronin is keyword big. That's what he does. You have the power to win games with him. Opponents don't know he's there fairly often unless you've shown your Maximus, and then all of a sudden you just have like this 15 power card. And finally, if cards aren't revealing, Goliath is amazing, right? You can just make sure that that whole lane just doesn't happen. So this is a day one infinite deck, and it's still the counter deck where everyone thinks it is. But I think there's another deck that is maybe even better at countering the metagame right now. We'll talk about it momentarily. Turn 1, we want Black Cat over Hydra Bob. Turn 2, Daredevil over Iron Patriot over Mr. Fantastic. Daredevil can be a snap, although it's often a later game snap. An Iron Patriot win on a good card is often a snap. And Mr. Fantastic First Steps is probably not a snap here. I shouldn't have made that green. My bad. Green means sometimes snap, white means usually snap. Gladiator over Negasonic over a 2-drop on turn 3. Generally speaking, you would like Gladiator, so you can sort of grab Prio. After Iron Patriot, Negasonic was pretty great, though. Supergiant on 4 is great. If not, you can go Most Power. If you have Goliath in hand, if you're going to go Maximus, Ronin, Goliath, that's totally fine. That is a perfectly acceptable play pattern. Obviously, you'll play something with Maximus in that circumstances. Turn 5, Ronin or Maximus +3, and that Maximus +3 is especially good under a Supergiant. Turn 6, Goliath or Negasonic plus Shadow King stuff, Shadow King Maximus, Negasonic Maximus, Shadow King Maximus, another card. You get the idea. You're comboing off to end the game if you're not just Goliathing off their Supergiant stuff. This deck is kind of a beast. It's a day one infinite for a reason. And if you are struggling right now, this is a great place to look. It's not cheap, but it's not the most expensive deck in Marvel Snap. It's something that you can build toward. Unless Supergiant gets nerfed, it's hard for me to imagine that this deck has anything bad happen to it soon. Before we go further, if my current stream times aren't working for you, did you know you can check out one of our friends? Today at 12 p.m. Eastern, the King of Canada will be streaming. Go check out our friend, King of Canada. Next up, we've got Ika's Scream Hellion. I played this on ladder a bit. I played this post Infinite last season after Invisible Woman First Steps came out. And Scream, if you add Red Guardian, absolutely rocks the Invisible Woman First Steps decks. It can struggle into Victoria Hand. If you're struggling with Victoria Hand, if you're seeing a lot of Victoria Hand, what you do is you run the Fudge version that runs Lady Deathstrike and Killmonger, and then that becomes a plus matchup too. You just take out Hellion and you run Killmonger, and then you can take out like the Batrock. Sorry, you take out Hellion, you run Lady Deathstrike, you take out the Batrock, and you run Killmonger, and you're totally fine. You can make some other changes, but that's the basic gist of it. And when you do that, you put out you farm both of the two top decks. As of right now, this deck is just awesome. It puts up a ton of power. It's really, really consistent, and it's incredibly frustrating to play against. Everyone forgot it. No one talks about Scream anymore. It's still absolutely great. You can find the creator of the original version of this one at Twitter, twitch.tv/Ika_MTS. We need Scream, Batrock Sam, Stomper, Red Guardian, Cannonball for this version, but remember, Lady Deathstrike and Killmonger version does exist. Hellion can be Legion or Stardust. Alright. Batrock gets big every time you move the shield. You're playing like a 110. We like 110s. Scream, every time you move an opponent card, gets 4 power. You only have a few ways to do that in this list, but fairly often opponents are going to move their own stuff. Your ways are Spider-Man, Polaris, and sometimes Cannonball. That is fine. Even if you only move one card, Scream is now playing as a 2/5. Sam Wilson is shockingly the key card to the deck. It moves Batrock, it buffs Kraven, it makes Hydra Stomper absolutely huge. Kraven gets big from both Sam Shield and Batrock and Silk. Obviously also the Spider-Man, but I was sitting there with a 14, 17 power Hydra Stomper some games, a genuinely powerful card. Stomper and Kraven are really great. They're just power engines, especially good if you're going to play Hellion and you move 3 cards onto a Hellion lane. All of a sudden, your Stomper and Kraven are just ridiculous. Spidey is a mover. It moves not only for the your side of the board moves like Hydra Stomper and Kraven. It moves an opponent's card for Scream. Silk is a continuum mover. The games where Hydra Stomper gets biggest are, in fact, Silk games. Red Guardian is why you have a plus matchup into Invisible Woman. Don't feel like you have to hit Invisible Woman. Sometimes they're relying on like a Sunspot or a Havoc or Athena to win a lane alone. And if you hit that Red Guardian at the right time, you can turn that off. And then you can win another lane because Cannonball's insane. Polaris moves a card. That is sort of Polaris and Spider-Man are like a pseudo clog package in addition to working for all the other synergies. Miles is a 1/6, generally played at the end of the game with Cannonball. Cannonball wrecks a card. people fill a location, right? As long as you know what location they're going to fill, you should be able to win with Cannonball. And then, of course, Hellion is just a lot of power when combined with Kraven and Stomper. He makes those cards able to go over the top of some serious powerful decks. So turn 1, Bartok, Batrock. Turn 2, Sam over Scream over Kraven over Eagle Sylph. I'm almost at a point where I think Sam should be a snap condition in these lists. I'm not quite there, but like he's nearly a snap condition, and Scream, if you have the right stuff, can be a snap condition too. Turn 3, Polaris if Scream or Kraven. Kraven if Sam. Silk and Stomper are both just fine plays. If they dropped a Victoria hand, especially if you have Prio, Red Guardian that shit. Turn 4, 2/2, or Red Guardian for an Invisible Woman or a Victoria hand. Turn 5, we're going Hellion or Stomper and 2. And then turn 6, we're going Cannibal and Miles or Stomper and Red Guardian. This deck is not hard to play, and it's an absolute monster right now. No one's talking about it, no one's telling you about it, no one's even thinking about it. But if you want to win some games of Marvel Snap, everybody scream. Let's go. That's it for today. If you're interested, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. That is where we are hosting the Snap Judgments League. So please do make sure that you stop by the Patreon. If you're interested in some exclusive videos and early access videos, patreon.com/snapjudgments is also the place to be. Thank you to our patron of the month, Jonesy Snap 22. Check him out on YouTube, please. He posts the Triple Threat, which is hilarious and awesome. We got Abigail Kiesland, the OG AG, Mandatory Burnout, who watched live earlier. I do the recording live on Twitch fairly often. It Regardless is a word, always kind, LAB, Ink the Graphite Fan. I am Frostman, who was here earlier. Hi, Frosty. Then we got Jota Navarrete, who won a PAX code. Primed Ryan of the Prime Mind app. Check out the Prime Mind app, please. Ryan Burke. Ryan Wood Snap. Check out our friend Ryan Wood Snap on YouTube. Renrange, Go for Kev. Keltor, Kertix Lee, Koire, and Kazushi. Hi, Kazushi. Koire went to bed. Hi, Kazushi. Again, all the K town in the ending with Archangel 3K. The Black Dahlia, Profros, Goatsy, Code, Hallowed, Synth, Bernark, Absolute Shannon, Dirt T, Casual, Dark Moogle, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Sheep is 23, Extra C and Skippy G are, in fact, rhyming friends, Jessica Gamble, hey Jess, Mr. Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, KFC Hoda, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Rob Silverman, David G. Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Matt V., Corwin, John Q., and Jimmy McHugh. Gistout, Ace Sage, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Reapster, Steve O 131, Yo Marco, Ted Bro, Good Bro Joe, Snap Decisions Joe. Check out the Snap Decisions podcast, please. Bickety Boom Bop, Bricks 2 Click, Green Goblin, Unibot V2, Flan 56, Spectrumix, Only Fox, Matt H, TJ Maggie Hijinks. Did I just say no flex twice? No flex. Nick the Greek Geek. Toxie, Toxic Soul King. Thanks for hanging with me on stream yesterday, Toxie. Zodric74, the King of Canada. JJ, Denman Falcon. Thor Newman, Two Ties, the Great Lord Devs, the Pirate King Tucker, whose deck was first today. And of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. I actually want to take a moment to send my love to our friend Blue Tears family. Blue Tears is a former Snap Judgments League winner, a stalwart member of the community, top 100 player, multiple time, just winner of a ton of stuff, a billion Infinity Borders, top player, really kind person. I talk to him all the time. Unfortunately, he passed of cancer. His brother stopped by my stream to let me know. And I just want to say, rest in peace. Fuck cancer. We'll miss you, Blue Tears. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow and every day thereafter for another Snap Take. Peace.